What is going on, Bam Slam fan? Oh my God, yes, another episode of the Bam Slam podcast.
And Costa works. He is here. You can see him. You can hear him.
And he's not glitching or anything. It's a miracle.
Oh, shut up.
No. Yeah, you can see all three of our, two beautiful faces, and then I'll throw mine up there. I'll throw mine up there as well. Bam Slam fam, I hope you guys are having a great Saturday. We had a very, very busy week, the three of us doing our separate stuff. And so we all were like, hey, get fun. We got to do this. So welcome to another episode of the Bam Slam podcast. Well, brought to you by our title sponsor, Ian and his whole family down there at McGregor Bar and Grill, smack dab in the middle of Mission Valley, steps away from Snapdragon Stadium, where I will be tomorrow, sitting in the owner's box. Thank you very much for the Legion game against, who are they playing? It's a big one. Anyhow,
some other rugby team.
Yeah, I'm going to be hanging out with Darren, who is the owner of the San Diego Legion, one of the neatest guys I've ever met. Met him recently. He invited me to come for a game.
Did you just say the word neat?
Neat, bitchin', neat, bitchin', and boss. How you guys doing, Allison? You look beautiful. How are you?
Oh God, no, I don't. It's Saturday morning. Ugh, but here I am.
You do look beautiful. How's that arm doing?
It's good. I got a chic all black cast now, so
look out.
Very fancy.
No one signed it yet?
No, I don't want anyone to sign it. I like it.
Ben,
I like it, nice and clean.
I would like to sign it.
All right.
Ben, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing peachy, man. Awesome. Really good. It's going to be a really nice day. Kendall and I are going to go down to Old Town, get some lunch a little later on, maybe stop back at McGregor's and have a few brews before we head up to the pool.
Not bad.
You going to watch the Padres in Mexico City at 3:00?
I'm actually really excited to see them in Mexico City.
I am too.
Like, I this was kind of just something preseason that was like, oh yeah, they're doing this right this year. Like, and now that it's here, I'm like, this could be the thing that saves the season.
Have either of you ever been? It's amazing.
No, I haven't. I wish I could.
I've been once, and I thought it was, what an incredible city. I mean, it is massive. It's massive, and it's crowded, and there's a lot of traffic, and the altitude kills you. But man, some amazing restaurants and bars. And
now, have you gone to the
when
the Chargers played there?
No, I went when my youngest son Zach was. He played in like an international friendship all-star football game there. So it was a San Diego Stars and Stripes football team played against a Mexico City team, and it was a blast. Super fun.
I went down a number of years ago with some friends who his father lives smack dab in the middle of Mexico City. And, as you said, Allison, massive. It's like 10 New York cities. Mm-hmm. And it's just gigantic. And you're right, it's crowded, and there's traffic, and there's smog, and there's altitude, and there's all that. But the food and the restaurants. And I have to say this about there's a lot of things that Mexicans do 1,000 times better than everybody else, and lunch is one of them.
Mm-hmm. And don't go if you're in a hurry. Because those meals take hours. Hours.
Like, all right, come on, sit down, order, eat. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah, no.
Because family obviously is the center of the Mexican family and the Mexican life. Lunch, and especially lunch on Sunday, that's it. And you're right, Allison. 3.5, 4 hours for lunch it's unreal. And the food
sounds like heaven.
Oh, Ben, it's the best. I drove by Stadia de Azteca, I think it is, and that's where they play some of the football. I don't know
where Zach played. That's the stadium he played in.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I don't know where they're playing the baseball game though.
Oh, it's the place looks badass. Hang on, let me pull up the exact name.
The culture there too is amazing. I mean, the history and the cathedrals, and just stunning architecture, and
it should be a bucket list for anybody anybody who lives with Mexico right next door to us. You got to get down there check it out.
Have you guys seen how many? I swear half of San Diego is there.
There's a ton. Yeah, I know.
So many people went. It's
Talking
so
with
cool.
Marty Caswell, who went down on Thursday.
Yeah.
And she was telling me from the time she got to the Tijuana airport, did the cross-border express into the airport, and then from the time she got there, she was drinking with Padre fans until the time they got off the plane. Said they
Yeah.
ran out of beer on the plane and then got down in Mexico City, and then immediately the entire plane just went to a bar.
Yeah, it's packed. I know so many people there, and it's so funny to see everything they're posting, and everybody's just having the best time. And they're saying there aren't very many Giants fans there, at least that they haven't run into many.
Estadio Alfredo Arp Elu in Ciudad de Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that do it for you?
Tell me you've seen the life-size bobbleheads.
Yeah. Somebody posted Trent Grisham's and said he should file a lawsuit or something like that. I was dying. That was so funny.
Ben,
But I've seen people taking pictures with Hassan Kim. That people ran into Fernando and people at a restaurant. Like, it's just cool. The players are kind of out and about. And
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
looks like they did a little like little league thing yesterday.
yes,
A bunch of them were out there, that's the most important thing, right?
I
When you're
love the outreach that they did with the children there. It was amazing and not surprising. Not surprising that Eric Grupner made that happen. But
the Juan Soto life size.
I know.
I haven't seen these. Am I missing out?
Oh my God, they're hilarious.
Who has them on Twitter?
Get on Twitter. They are the worst things you've ever seen in your life.
Did you interact with them, Costa?
They're so fun.
No, I wanted to, but I had a crazy ass night last night with one of our dogs. We'll talk about that after the break. But I was checking Twitter this morning, and Allison, I was literally in tears because I saw that one about Trent Grisham and suing, and then there's
defamation.
The Hassan Kim one, you're like, what? And then there's one of the Giants pitchers who looks like literally taking a crap as he's throwing the ball.
It's funny. It's funny.
They're so bad. But that is the spirit of having, the major leagues down there for a quick weekend series, man. The whole city gets behind it, and they're just
so pumped. Everybody, the people that live there are so pumped to have this happening there. It's so cool. I don't know. I love it. And I also heard that I was reading about security and like how the teams had to go through some pretty big meetings to, they can't go out alone and all that, which I think is smart. I mean, you have to be safe, but I just love seeing everybody there. It's very cool.
The over-under for runs tonight, because the elevation is so high, is set at 13.5.
Yeah. We should have gone and done the podcast from there.
Oh,
next time.
They're 2,000 feet higher than Colorado, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're talking damn near a mile in the air.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
My brother-in-law last night, and he said, he goes, you think there's a prop bet in Vegas for how many? And I said, oh God, Jim, you can find a prop bet for anything in the world. Of course there are.
Yeah.
You can find a prop bet for how long this podcast is going to go today.
So can I just talk about one thing going back to the Cubs series?
Please do.
Cubs series. Yeah, series. We all knew that Fernando was going to get where he went, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm watching, there's a lot of back and forth on Twitter about, I didn't make some miraculous recovery from an injury. He came back from a steroid suspension. And me personally, I'm a firm believer in, don't let them see you sweat and don't make any mention or don't let them see you react to what they're doing. I had a problem with him dancing out in the outfield when they were going at him for the steroid thing.
I kind of loved it.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was
because it's not letting them see you sweat. No. I think there's a lot of people that feel exactly like you do, Costa. I'll explain kind of the other side of it. You just said it. You don't want to let them see you sweat. You don't want to let them see you react. It wasn't a negative reaction. he like took something and made it his own, which is kind of what he's been doing since he's got up. Like I kind of love that about Fernando, that was his way of sort of letting it just bounce off of him.
I mean, I think him standing out there with a steely face and, just would look so bad. And I think doing that is sort of who he is. That's his personality. Okay, I'm gonna make some fun. And you know who loved it the most? The people who were taunting him.
Oh,
They loved it. They all started laughing. It sort of endeared him to them. And to me, if that's the way you're gonna help fix your reputation, which, I don't think he did, whatever. We know how I feel about it. But I just think that I loved it. I thought it was a great move on his part to sort of lighten the mood. And then the fans loved it.
Yeah, I talked to Kevin Acey, my guy. Kevin, who, by the way, is hilarious now. This is all new. I've never seen this side of him before.
I didn't know it existed.
No one did. All of a sudden, when he just comes on the radio with us in the morning, he's a totally different human being. It's great. But Kevin, credit to him on that freezing first game in Chicago where Don and Mud spent the entire game complaining about how cold they were.
Yeah,
Kevin went out and sat in the bleachers out in right field to see what the fans were doing. Yeah. He went for the first 4 innings. He was out in the right field bleachers just to see how the fans were reacting to Fernando.
That's
and,
awesome.
he was like, the clip that went viral on ESPN and everything that played it a little out of proportion. Like, it really wasn't that bad, because he said for the most part, the ladies in the audience were just talking about his ass the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
And then the men in the audience were just cracking up after he did the dance. And so they said it really wasn't that big of a deal. Now, will that be the same case in Los Angeles? No. He might need to do the Costa approach in LA.
And even when they were at the Diamondbacks, his first game back, I didn't feel like there was any reaction. I mean, they didn't have a lot of fans in the stands either, but I didn't think it was bad at all. And I think the worst will be at the Dodgers, of course, because, it's not a rivalry.
They've already played at the Mets, right?
Yeah, but not with Fernando.
Not with Fernando. Okay. I think the East Coast teams will maybe it'll be a little tougher for him. I don't know. I'm just a big Teddy Roosevelt guy. Speak softly and carry the big stick, and it would have been nice to, but that's
not him, dude. That's not him at all.
Yeah, I like that he kept true to his personality. Now, if I don't know, Jake Cronenworth was doing that, it might look a little funky because that's not who Jake is. Yeah. But because it is Fernando's personality, I sort of liked it.
And if it was Manny in right field, Manny would probably do the steely grim,
Yeah.
Just not even pay attention to it. But it is Fernando, and he's different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you love him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As wrong as your opinions are, maybe you'll come around.
This is the same dude that saw Alex Morgan celebrating in a USA jersey and then went on the radio and just completely shit on it for 3 hours.
Oh, God.
Fuck them.
Just for someone who has such a fun life, and Costa, I do embody you with fun. Like, you like to enjoy yourself. You sure are a stickler when other people try to have fun.
No.
It is true. There is nobody that likes to have fun more than Costa. But
I love fun. I love having fun. I just hate jackholes. And Fernando,
God forbid you try to have fun while you're playing a sport. God forbid.
Yeah, I know.
Fernando is not a jackhole.
Well, they're kind of all playing like jackholes right now.
Well,
you can say that.
His bat woke up, so I was happy to see him doing better.
I mean, Allie, I know how you feel about Manny Machado.
I know.
Woof.
I know, but he got a home run the other day, and then a single after that, which was good. But I know, it's very frustrating to watch. And I think in the case of Juan Soto, I think it's all mental. I think with Manny, maybe there's some physical stuff going on. I don't know though, because he's playing like an acrobat on defense. So
yeah, but he likes to hide his injuries, which that's one thing I've never understood in sports. Like, if you're dealing with something, I respect him for not talking about it, but if you're dealing with something, let us know.
But he's not acting injured when he's playing defense. His defense is insane, and for that, the fact he's not hitting, but for what he's doing on defense is so impressive. I mean, I don't know if people realize how difficult some of those plays are.
The thing about baseball is that, in football, you absolutely do not want to say you have an injury because obviously the other team is going to try to exploit it, not try to hurt, but try to exploit it.
Yeah, for sure.
In basketball, yeah, if you've got, let's say, a bum right ankle, then players are probably going to drive to you to their left to make you have to put your weight on that right ankle and pivot. In baseball, I don't know if hiding it is that big of a deal unless he's got something like an oblique strain or a quad, something that obviously him trying to turn on a ball and hit it. A pitcher could say, okay, I'm going to jam him inside because he's having it, whatever the case may, whatever it may be. But good for him because, Ben, I almost fell on my crutch.
I know. I saw it. I heard it.
But, I mean, good on him for just going, yeah, it is what it is. I'm not going to blame an injury if, in fact, he does have an injury. I love Manny Machado. Until the cows come home. He's
that's why I think we're gonna have a lot more patience with Manny than we will with a guy like Juan Soto.
1,000%.
The Soto thing just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I don't know if you guys have seen the numbers, but 21 strikeouts in the last 6 games. That's not 6, 16, sorry. But that's the most at any point in his career. He and Manny both having the worst starts to their seasons in their career by far. It's not even close for either of them. And it's just like with Juan Soto in a Padres jersey, my mind, and this could be totally off, but immediately goes to he's still thinking about that contract that he was offered. That Scott Boras probably told him to turn down because he could go get more money.
I think
he's
you're right.
thinking, well, shit, I could have $440 million in the bank right now, but instead I'm here plummeting my own stock.
I think one of the I sort of feel like, should the Padres say, here's $441 million, now get to work? But or is he, I don't know, was he a one season wonder? Like, I don't know.
It really wasn't one season. His whole career with the Nats. I mean, he was on pace. Like,
I know,
baseball guys like Buster Olney, we're talking, he's the next Ted Williams.
I know.
And now, like, you look at him and he's looking a lot more like a Hosmer.
Well, yeah. I was just so hoping somebody would bounce one off of his dome.
They were all hugging him.
Freaking Hosmer hit a home run against the Padres. Like, God.
Right after Manny did.
Come on. I'm like, this dude has just been bad for everything San Diego his whole life.
Well, he's still bad at the Cubs, though.
But he hit a home run against the Padres. That's the thing. We're about to see Will Myers back in San Diego. I'd be surprised if Will didn't hit the cycle.
Oh my God, my beloved Will.
I still love Will.
You're gonna see him on Monday.
Happening with Juan Soto, and I'm not a psychologist, obviously, but we'll play one here on the podcast. I think he's seeing the bag slip away as he continues to struggle.
Yeah.
I think that is compounding whatever the problem is. Whatever, and listen, I freaking sucked at baseball. I peaked at 12 years of age. Could not hit a ball to save my life right now. But you can tell he's scuffling. You can tell he's trying to force whatever is going on. And I don't know how you get out of it. You just keep swinging, I guess.
I unfortunately, I do know how he gets out of it, and it's not in a Padres uniform. Like, I think his next stop is probably going to be he's going to have a great career wherever he goes next. I just don't know that the Padres can.
Dodgers?
Dude, I don't know. I would hope not. I don't think he's going to be traded, but I do think the Padres probably let him just play out whatever it is here in San Diego. And
unless he gets hot,
Right. And that could happen too. And like, maybe this is all mental and he figures out some way to break out of it. Just if I were to place money down, we were talking about you can do betting lines on anything. I still think Soto's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. I just don't think it's going to be with the Padres.
Are we past the point of saying it's still early in the season? Are we an eighth of it gone? If
we do the NFL analogy, we're probably like at the starting the second half in game 2.
It's just the thing that scares me, it always scares me about this team is that they've had seasons in the past, and Allison, you would know, and Ben, you too, you've been here long enough where it comes down to that 1 or 2 games where you can let's see, okay, there was one early on that something happened or whatever, and it counted. I I want to see them get on a. It's time for them to get on a roll and start banking some wins.
Two things, and this is just my, I so want them to do well. So maybe this is just, positivity that isn't there. But I do think they've had a very, they've played great teams so far. Okay. So, or teams that are doing well. They're not losing to, the dregs of the league right now. And they're still only one game below 500, considering they're not hitting the ball. So I think those two things, are positive indicators that maybe, this will pick up. And also I think we will have, although I was gonna say we have the Reds coming, but they're sort of red hot right now. The Giants are doing better right now. So, I mean, we'll see. This next week, I think will tell us more, but I don't know. They need to start hitting. And how about guys like, thank goodness for guys like Matt Carpenter and, and Ha-Seong Kim. I know he's not hitting great, but he's had some clutch hits at important times. And Jake too. So,
and then Xander's been the star of the show so far.
Oh, by far.
He might be
every single game.
Yeah, he might be the best player in the National League right now, the way he's playing.
Yeah.
But I think you look at this Padres team, and the issue isn't that they're one game below 500. Like, I think if you project out the rest of their season, like, they're pretty easy lock for the playoffs right now, I would say. The issue is this team was never supposed to be under 500 ever.
Yeah, right.
Like, the issue is this team should already be 6-7 games above 500. Like, they're built good enough to just walk through the regular season like the Dodgers have for years and years and years. And I hate to even bring this up, but you look at the standings right now, it's exactly what the Dodgers are doing again. And like we all talked about, well, crap, the Dodgers didn't do anything this offseason. Well, they're winning a bunch of regular season games once again.
And that's
but they're not. No, we have like the same record, I think. Don't we?
They're not world beaters, but it's like they're just winning more consistently and making it look a little easier. And
we need the Diamondbacks to start losing.
Yeah,
well,
they will.
The Dodgers, in a sense, are doing it with nothing, and the Padres are doing nothing with something, and that's the frustrating part.
That's a good point. What do you think Bogarts is thinking? Like, oh, I thought I was coming to a superstar.
This is what he's doing. What are you guys doing?
Exactly.
What the hell's going on here? I thought we were all doing this.
My shoulders are only so broad.
Yeah.
Everybody on this team.
And he's been a superstar at short, too. I love watching Xander play. I am so glad he was the one they ended up going to get. Because you watch Trey Turner play, he's just kind of boring, but he's really fast.
Yeah,
like, I'm so glad they ended up with Xander.
Me too. And how about, can we just please give some props to Jake at first?
Yes.
The guy is, he looks like a Gold Glover at first base. I'm sorry. The way he stretches for the ball was something Hosmer never was doing, at least not in the last few years that he was here. And I just have been very impressed with the way Jake is playing at first base. I was a little nervous about it because it's not someplace we had seen him for any length of time. So that's been a fun surprise to see.
I just love looking around the infield and being like, oh shit, there's 4 Gold Glove shortstops in the infield right now.
Yeah.
I know. You know what I love about Jake Cronenworth is that you look at him and you go, my God, one of the kids from the Sandlot made it to the big time besides Benny the Jet, whatever.
Yeah.
Jake looks like he's 15.
Yeah. I feel
By the
that
way,
way about
I've not been
Hosmer.
drinking a beer. This is a sparkling water. I know it probably looks like a beer.
Yeah.
I feel that way about Kim too. Like, he's so fun to watch play. And he's made some spectacular plays also. So that's been fun to watch.
What about Snell?
He looks like he needs to poop all the time.
I adore him, but gosh, he's just, his personality is the greatest, but gosh, he's just not pitching very well. Too many pitches is the problem. It's just too many. He can't eat up enough innings.
You could literally copy paste everything I said about Blake Snell last year and just put it in right here.
And I love the move of Nick Martinez to the bullpen because he's such a stud there. I know he's probably not thrilled about it, but God, he's so
He still
good.
gets like 4 innings every time he comes in.
I know, because he's so good in that.
Yeah.
He's so good in that role. And I was saying the other night watching him, I was like, oh, Nick, maybe you really are a bullpen guy. Maybe you're not a starter.
I feel bad because I do think he earned his spot in the starting rotation this year. I was at that game that he pitched against, who was that? The Braves. and he shut him down. Like,
Yeah.
and his pacing, I think everything about him is a starting pitcher.
I love him.
Unfortunately, I think he's a better bullpen pitcher. I think you're right, Allie.
Yeah. Okay, we have to talk real quick about Ryan Weathers' mom and dad.
Oh my God. Just
Okay,
dude.
I
cannot.
I got in on the back end of this. Did they take to tell people to shut up?
Yes,
No.
the worst part was the mom's hashtags. Hashtag over it. Hashtag time to move on. Okay, Kelly. Like, give me a break.
You're doing your kid zero favors by doing this. I don't know whose
Here.
idea it was. And I'm sure as soon as Ryan saw it, he got on the phone and was like, Mom, what the fuck are you doing?
I hope he did. I'm telling you, if I had ever, there were times, trust me, especially when Ben was at Western Kentucky, where I was wanting to be like WTF on Twitter.
I remember.
If I wanted to, I treasure above anything else in my life my relationship with my children. If I had ever, it would have done serious damage. My son would have lost his mind. It would have been like, delete it, but also don't ever talk to me again. I mean, it's so embarrassing. Not only that, but he's a professional baseball player. What are you doing?
Who had a really good start, and the Padres weren't wrong to send him down. It was like, okay, would you rather get him maybe once every 7 days up here, or God forbid, put him in the bullpen where he's not getting consistent work at all, or send him down to triples where he's going to be the best pitcher there. He's going to pitch every 5 days. He's going to keep the thing going. And then, by the way, in a couple months, he's going to pop right back up.
I bet you he's up before a couple months. I don't think he's not stuck down there. This was just a move, that's going to help him. I don't know. The dad
and
deleted.
The way Lugo and Waka are pitching, they're going to need him sooner than later.
Exactly. So, and the dad deleted his tweet, but then some people were kind of coming at him, and he was trying to like backpedal. He's like, oh, I was just saying like this. Like he was trying, to kind of backpedal out of it. But it was a very, very bad look for a professional. It would be a bad look for a little leaguer's parents to do it, but they do it all the time. And,
I'm going to duck out of here for about a minute or so. I've got a sick patient in the house who is, Ben, you can explain to Allison and the Bam Slam fam what I've got to do, but I will be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, he had kind of a scary moment yesterday.
What happened? Oh, wait. Hi, I'm here by myself.
Sorry.
I'm here by myself.
They had kind of a scary moment with their dogs, and one of them had an emergency run to the vet last night. Hopefully everything's okay. But Allie, we could take this time and kind of talk about McGregor's real quick.
Yeah, let's
Our
do
favorite
it.
people in the world, Ian, the whole family down at McGregor's, which is just down the street from my house, right in the middle of Mission Valley. You can get there from Snapdragon. It's a walk, but awesome drinks, awesome food. Allie, what's your favorite food these days at McGregor's?
Well, I don't eat a lot of fried stuff, but their fish and chips I can't resist. That's my weakness. If I'm going, I'll just be like, okay, you're doing this when you go to McGregor, so just do it, girl. And they truly are the best. You know what else I love about it there is when we were there for that San Diego State versus Alabama March Madness game, you remember how completely packed it was. I mean, it was hard to walk around in there. It was so full. But the service was still fast, great, friendly. It's so impressive that the way that they're trained there to make it easy on the customer and make people want to come back and have a great time.
And a lot of the people that work there have been there for a long, long time. McGregor's is a bit of a family themselves. They were a no-brainer when it came to who we wanted to be a part of this podcast with us. We're glad they are. Get on down to McGregor's in Mission Valley, down by the Mission. Awesome spot. You won't regret it.
It's a great match. Don't you think I don't know, they're sort of the restaurant and we're the podcast, but it's a great friendship, and we are similar in a lot of ways, even though it's completely different lines of work. So
yeah, I mean, I did about 5 years of promoting McGregor's before they were paying me to do so. So it only makes sense that I'm doing it now, but it is like my favorite spot in San Diego. We're there all the time. So yeah, Costa, poor guy. I guess last night he got home and a little apple, the little Chiweenie, who's my favorite, got into it with one of the bigger dogs, and one of the bigger dogs won that fight. So she's doing okay now. But Costa, how's our girl?
She's good. I just heard it was coming back in. Allison, I had since Meg's in Spain,
right?
I invite my mom and dad, my sister and her husband, my brother and his wife over. We'll just have pizza and hang out. So I went and picked my parents up, came back in, walked in. My mom's looking at all the dogs and stuff, and she said, "Hey, Mike, what's wrong with Apple?" I went, "What?" And so I look over to where Apple normally lays on her bed, and she's sitting there and she's shaking. And she looked like, as I told Ben, she looked like she'd been through a rodeo.
Oh.
Go pick her up, and she goes, "Ah!" And I went, "Oh no!" And she's just covered in blood, and she's got this massive gash in her neck. So I just said, "Okay, I've got to take you to the vet." So I said, "Mom, the pizza's being delivered at 6:30. You know where all the drinks and the food are. Hang out, and I'll call you from the vet." So thank you to everybody at VCA in Mission Valley. Walked right in. No wait, obviously. They said, "We'll get her into triage, blah, 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 blah." She was there until about 5:45 this morning.
Oh.
Now she's got a bunch of stitches in her neck, and like half of her neck is shaved and half of her head is shaved. And she looks like she'd be perfect for the next
Oh.
Poor little applesauce.
Oh. Does Meg know?
No, because she just finished the Camino today, and she's been dealing with her knee's been giving her a lot of problems, and so I figure I'll just hold down the fort until she gets home.
Yeah, smart. Oh,
But of course, she's
sweet.
watching the Bam Slam pod right now, so she's freaking out.
Yeah,
Yeah, now she does.
the thing is, it's on my watch.
Yeah.
Thing where
I'm
it's
really glad it wasn't on Ben Ratzlaff's watch the other day.
oh, I had to go to Vegas this past Monday, and frickin' Allison's son Ben, who's we all know, and we're preaching to the choir when we talk about him, is one of the most solid, awesome people on earth.
Great arms.
I just needed something over and hang out. And Ben came over and hung out with the dogs and chilled with them and stuff like that. So thank you again, Ben Ratzlaff, you stud.
He said one of them was afraid of him, and when he first got there, it was, I don't know which one it was. He said it was a middle-sized black dog.
Oh, Lupita.
Oh, okay. And it said she was just barking her head off at him, and he's like, I don't know whether I should go towards the dog or so he just sat down and let the dog come to him, and then he just gave him some scratches, and then it was all fine.
She's the one that came from Valle Guadalupe, and
Okay.
was running in a pack, so she's she's a little bit of an ice cube that you need to
I'm
follow.
sure she was like, who the heck are you? I've never seen you before.
To bite you because I'm a security dog.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about
NFL draft?
Yeah. Okay. God, I hate saying this because I freaking love football, and I love the NFL. And it's funny, Allison, as I was watching the draft, I was thinking about Ben Ratzlaff.
Me too.
I could not have been more disinterested. I don't know. I got into it as, put it this way, leading up to Thursday night, I was like, oh shit, the draft. But as I sat down and watched, and you see the guys, and I love the backstory, the dream come true, the mom and the dad, mom and dad, ever, and that part I absolutely.
Will Levis and his 5 girlfriends.
I don't know.
You know what's funny about Will Levis? One of my good friends, went to college with his girlfriend's mother. So she called me. She's like, "Why didn't he get drafted? What's going on?" I said, "He'll get drafted today." I said this to her yesterday. I said, "I bet you it'll be Raiders, Rams, or Titans." And then the Titans got him. So I was very proud about my prediction. But I was like, which one was Gia? Because there was a hot blonde next to him for a while, and he has his arm around her, and then there was a brunette next to him. So and she said, "That's Gia." Then I was like, "Oh, well, who was the first girl?" I guess it was his sister. I don't know, but it was odd.
Yeah, it was a little odd, but he gets drafted by the Titans. But Costa, I kind of agree with you. I don't know. Anytime the Niners don't have a pick in the first round, I kind of forget about the draft. But there was some fun this year. I mean, you get the 3 quarterbacks taken early, and then the 2 running backs, I think, was the biggest shocker. And if you look at all the NFL grades and the CBS does the grade of the draft, both those teams got D's, even though I think Bijan Robinson absolutely has a chance to change the league this year.
Yeah.
But then you look around at the rest of it, And all the trades were what made my day. Like the Houston Texans getting
Yeah.
the 2nd overall pick and then moving up immediately to get the 3rd.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Well, and the Eagles too got
Yeah.
the two kids from Georgia back to back, which was
Eagles, who might have the best player in this entire draft in Jalen Carter, in spite of what's been going on off the field with him. I think
Yeah.
he has an opportunity. And he took the longest to get to the stage because he was just pouring tears.
Yeah.
Because 5 months ago, legitimately, he probably thought his dreams of playing in the NFL were done.
Yeah.
He thought his life was over. And now this happens.
I mean, what he went through was terrible with the racing and the accident and everything, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think that makes him a horrible human being. I think what happened was horrible and he should have known better and all of those things. I don't know. I always believe in second chances for people like us, probably,
Well,
especially when they're young, you know.
It makes a stupid kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Costa was a stupid kid once. I
And
was
there
a
was
stupid kid
another
once.
car involved. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was out and hit somebody
Right.
Random. There was another friends in the other car involved. I mean,
This wasn't Henry Ruggs. You know, this was
exactly. I would not believe in a second chance for that guy ever. But
No.
You're right.
But you're unfortunately an accessory to a tragic accident where someone's lost,
and I think he's heartbroken. That girl was one of his best friends that was driving the other car.
I think that's where a lot of the tears came from.
Yeah.
Him, Ben, what you said, oh my God, I did get drafted, but like shit, this could have been so much more of a, let's say a lighter day for me and my family. This is gonna, this will hang over him for the rest of his life, and it'll be somewhat of a psychological demon he'll have to deal with.
Right.
But you're right. We all deserve second chances, and if he'd been drunk, or he the influence, I'd be like, lock him up and throw away the key. But he was being a dumb, stupid kid.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a good amount of guilt that goes with it. Like, oh, now I'm a first round pick and I get all this money. And meanwhile, this family doesn't have a daughter anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of that going on. Hopefully he takes this as the opportunity to move forward with his life and make a positive impact in a lot of different places. And I think that he will. Like, I think that a lot of times if you go through something like that, you can come out of it in one of two ways. It can ruin you forever, or you can take positive steps and it can make you a better person. You could have a bigger influence elsewhere.
And hopefully lives are changed for the positive by his story. Hopefully he does some good with that and works with young people or whatever it is he's going to do to really make an impact on other people. But how about your Raiders got a great tight end?
The kid from Notre Dame is he's a Greg Olson type. There's not a lot of, he doesn't possess that absolute breakaway lightning quick speed, but he's got great blocker. He'll be
I heard a lot of Jason Witten comparisons.
He'll be a great he's a great safety valve for Jimmy Garoppolo. This is assuming that he's going to crack the starting lineup. I didn't have a problem with the Raiders draft. The kid they took out of Texas Tech, aside from his tuxedo coat and wearing sunglasses the whole time, I thought was a little, whatever.
I think like the sunglasses inside.
Either.
It's Vegas. Oh, he's going to Vegas, but it was in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the best part of the whole draft was the Lucas Van Ness pick to the Packers? His family reaction.
Oh yeah. Was that when his brother jumped on him or whatever?
His dad totally tapped his girlfriend on the ass.
I know.
Twice.
Oh God.
Ready for it?
Hey,
Here it comes. Bam, bam.
Do you guys remember when CeeDee Lamb was drafted by the Cowboys and he was sitting on the couch and the girlfriend, he had two phones and the girlfriend grabbed one of the phones to start checking it. And he's like,
nope.
There was there was a moment when the defensive tackle or defensive end for Iowa was drafted, and he's sitting on the couch, and his girlfriend, like, he's on the phone, and she's like leaning in to kiss him and stuff, and then he's talking more, and then she's kind of leaning in more and kiss him, and he kind of just gets up and walks off the screen. And I was like, CD
Like,
Lamb,
not about you, girl.
how many ex-girlfriends are we going to look back on in a year and see?
Yeah.
Well, you guys have seen the Russell Wilson draft day picture, right?
Oh my God.
That's the
Yeah.
all-timer. This one,
Yeah.
where she thinks she's set for life, and then 2 weeks later,
Bye.
See,
You know what else was cool? I love that the first and second picks are both Southern California natives.
yeah.
Like California high school football, right? It's not all Texas people.
no.
And I'm glad CJ Stroud ended up going too. That was such a
Me
weird
too.
last 2 weeks for him.
I
Yeah.
agree.
And
And
we
I
still have no idea if that S2 cognition test, like if the results were even real. They got leaked out by that one person. But I feel bad for how the last 2 weeks went for him, and I'm glad he still ended up near the top.
I think he's got a much more of the quarterback body type than Bryce
Way
Young.
higher ceiling than Bryce Young.
I
Bryce Young is
agree.
just the most NFL ready. And by the way, I think Will Anderson probably has a higher, or not Will Anderson. Who's the guy the Colts took? Will Anderson's the edge rusher.
Richards? No.
Yeah, the
Ri-
kid from Florida.
Yeah.
I think he has the highest ceiling of the three of them. That dude's 6'4", 230.
Yeah.
He's another Cam Newton body.
Yeah.
Did you see the interview with he and his brother?
Yeah, it was a little.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Allison, they're talking with him.
I'll send it to you.
Mom's in between them, and then they go to his little brother who's like 13 or 14, and the girl, whoever the interviewer asks him a question, and he's literally like, "Yeah, I'm really happy." I mean, like you think he's got 3 testicles. That's how low his.
Like, how funny. How funny. Yeah, it was fun. I love the first round of the draft. I love watching it.
It's great. I as much as I freaking hate anything Kansas City,
They did a good job.
and my former boss Brian Long, and I
Mhm.
hope this, and his stupid son Sammy,
Who was at the draft?
he was.
Sammy went, yeah, and he got to go to the Motley Crue concert after.
Actually, I'm happy for Sammy because Sammy's an awesome kid. Kansas City did it right. They really did it up right.
Except I could do without like the Hunt family coming out on stage wearing that big ass ring, having Mahomes and Kelsey and a couple other people there with the trophy from last year. Like this is about the NFL. It's not about your Super Bowl last year.
Right,
Yeah.
but it was their city, and I think the fans that were there probably loved it. What do you think? Some of those people, you know, how the cameras, especially the first day, like goes to the people are dancing and acting so crazy. I'm like, is this for real? Like, are these people hired? Like, what's
And,
going
like producers go and talk to them all 5
Yeah.
minutes before, and like the camera's about to be on you. We need energy. We need pop. We need flair.
on? It's so funny to me.
That again, Flair.
Flair. You liked it.
Well, and then you have that area right in front of the stage,
Yeah.
like that big moat, and then everybody else is kind of off in that park. So I'm sure, Ben, as you said, either those fans won some sort of contest to be there, or
Yeah.
the NFL Network. By the way, NFL Network, Rich Eisen and company. There is no greater, in my estimation, pregame show in the NFL, and there's no greater draft coverage than what Rich and his crew do.
How about our guy Daniel Jeremiah, who just knows everything about every single player?
I love him.
He does such a good job. Like I want to know what his last 4 months was since the NFL season ended, because it had to just be literally watching film every day.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's awesome.
Combine, and then he DJs.
Because he just knows everything about every single player that has an opportunity to be drafted. And I'm like, I don't even know some of their names.
Can we get rid of Mel Kiper?
Yeah, I'm done with him. Stupid
Well,
hair.
Just can't take him.
You think Will Levis or leave us a little bit?
Yeah.
Will Levis, what about him?
He had him going.
Like second or fourth or something.
There was someone on CBS had Will Levis as the number 1 overall pick, and he said, "Mark my words, this will happen."
Ooh.
But see, there's no repercussion.
You know, it's funny. I watched a clip on Will Levis that somebody was analyzing, and they were talking about how stiff he is, and that he throws it a lot into the ground, and that he looks like he spends too much time in the weight room because it's made him really stiff. And it was a very interesting analysis. And this person was saying, I don't know. I don't see him getting drafted till much later. And
He does have something in common with Costa, though.
This person was right.
They both do the mayo and the coffee. That's Costa's favorite way to start the day.
He said yesterday he does not really do that, and he's so over people. He said it was a one-time like prank, and anyway, I felt bad for him because everyone loves him.
When scouts universally means everybody, but when there's a lot of scouts that say you don't have very good pocket presence, that is a big one, because he's not a guy who's got the speed to get away. He can't camp in a pocket or in a backfield. But we'll see. They're not going to force him into the lineup in Tennessee. He can kind of hang out and learn it. And all the guys who get drafted, we wish them the best. And it's really crazy about this. When's the last time you guys went back and looked at draft from a while ago?
Yeah, and none of those guys are playing right now. Yeah.
Or guys who were drafted and you're like, who? It's just and then guys who didn't get drafted. And
or guys that were the Mr. Irrelevant of last year's draft who end up leading a
right.
He's pretty good.
Right.
It's Brock Purdy, by the way.
That's right.
Howard, it's just a roll of the dice for a football team.
Costa, Allie and I did the read a little earlier, but I think McGregor's would be sad if you didn't give them some love. So why don't you let us know about our favorite bar and grill?
Absolutely. With Meg out of town, there was one night I almost postmated fish and chips from but we had some take and eat salads that I needed to eat before they got bad. But seriously, great food, a great atmosphere, not a bad seat in the house, all of the screens everywhere. And the best thing about McGregor's is the people that you walk in there and serve you. Ian and his family, there's a reason they've been around for as long as they have, right there in Mission Valley, right down the street west of the Mission and down the street east of Snapdragon Stadium. You cannot find a better place to go before the game, after the game, or to go watch the game. And McGregor's, you can use that for your tagline if you want. But thanks to them, come aboard as our title sponsor of the Bam Slam podcast. And we will soon be announcing another date for a live broadcast down there.
I like it.
Which is always fun.
They make a great icy cold Moscow Mule. Delicious.
Yeah.
And we also are going to have somebody new coming on.
I heard.
Soon. So stay tuned
that
for that one. My friend Amanda. And that's all I'll say about that.
Okay. Awesome.
But we're excited. Everyone's going to love this, especially as we're heading into Mother's Day and Father's Day and summer.
Expanding the Bam Slam fam, one little step at a time.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you are interested in sponsoring us, please email us at bamslampodcast.com. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we're everywhere, and follow each of us on Twitter. You can see all of our usernames right here at Fletch Sports, at Alley Rat, at the Louis Costa. We appreciate you all.
Bam Slam fam, as always, we thank you for being along for this ride, this edition of the Bam Slam podcast. And always, last but not least, you brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces for what you do, what you've done for us.
Bam Slam fam, we love you. That wasn't a moi.
Mwah.
It was a moi.
Here you go.